I would say the whole problem starts from ourselves, because we don't realize that our default state is happiness. Our default state is happiness. That means we are born to be happy. We are living a happy life, but we don't realize that. That lack of realization is giving us suffering. So how do we overcome that? See, basically happiness is the precursor of success. If you want to be successful in your life, successful in your career, successful in your relationship, successful in anything, the default, you have to follow the default state. You have to be happy first. So that is what in Anandadhara we are following, rediscovering the happiness, the default state in each and every one of us. That way we can create an entire happy world, and happiness leads us to success. Okay, today I'm going to talk about a Tao principle called Wu Wei. Wu Wei is a Chinese word. The meaning of this Chinese word is action without action. It sounds a bit paradoxical, action without action. But what it says is that if you're aligned completely with the nature, you're aligned with the universe, you will not have to do anything. The action comes spontaneously. So that is Wu Wei, action without action. So Wu Wei also says that you have to be like water. You know, you have to be like water. That means flow. Have you noticed one thing about water? Water flows as per the law of the nature. It doesn't stop anywhere. It follows the law of the nature, that is the gravity. And wherever it starts from, it follows the nature, it flows or it vaporizes or do whatever, end of the day, it comes and falls in the sea. See, we have to be like water, effortless flow. Whatever you're doing, align perfectly with the nature and align perfectly with the universe. When we talk about the universe and the nature, that is basically your own true self. Another thing about water is that water is, it always flows to the lowest level. It is the humblest element you can find in this universe. Wherever you put it, it goes to the lowest level. So if you want to align with the universe, if you want to align with the nature, the first thing you have to do is that being humble. We are not above anyone in this world. We are not above another human being. We are not above an animal. You're not even above the trees. We are the humblest people. See, when humbleness comes in, your ego disappears. Ego is inversely proportional to the level of your humbleness. The more humble you are, the less ego you are. So when you want to achieve the full happiness, rediscover the default state of your happiness, you have to completely eliminate your ego. Effortless action happens if you delete or take away or dissolve all your negative traits in your life. Because all the negative traits are coming out of our evolutionary requirement. Because the fear, anger, jealousy, all kinds of negativity which is coming within us, it is just because of a revolutionary trait. Because it was trained, the brain was trained for our ancestors in the savannas to survive using these traits. We don't need that anymore. We are in the modern world, we don't need those traits anymore. So this is a constant struggle to cut off these things from the brain and align with the nature. Then you became like water, you achieve the state of Wu Wei. That is the Tao philosophy say. So these negative traits and ego are basically go hand in hand. Hatred, for example, if you hate someone, that is just because of your ego. You feel that you are above that person, or you are right and that person is wrong. In Wu Wei, there is no right, there is no wrong. Everything is absolutely in harmony, in perfect harmony. So once you have a perfect harmonious life with yourself, within you, and surrounding whatever, with your environment, with the people around you, then once this harmony comes, then the effortless works kicks in. And this is the Wu Wei principle of Tao. I want you to draw your attention to an Indian principle in the Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says. You do your action according to your dharma, but don't expect the results. The results will flow into you effortlessly. If you resist your action, whenever you resist your action, there is always a result orientation involved in that. Once the result orientation is there, the harmony is completely gone. The harmony is detached. When in a detached, harmonious state, you will need endless, infinite effort to get anything done. That is what I said. If you don't want to do something which you don't like, you always feel, it reflects in your body. You always feel stressful, you always feel tired. Even if you do a little bit of work, you feel tired because there is no harmony, there is no flow. So how to achieve this flow? The step number 1 is that you have to get out of all your negative traits. And step number 2 is reduce the size of your ego. You are not going anywhere with your ego, because end of the day we are all going to the graveyard. So we are not carrying anything with us. We do not bring anything with us. We are not carrying anything with us, because this mind body is just an illusion. It is not the real you. So once you realize the real you, the real self in you, you don't need this mind body. You don't satisfy this mind body. It just disappears. When Wu Wei says be like water, you have to be like water. Water has not only the property of flowing to the lowest position. Okay, it is humble, it flows according to the nature. But if anything comes on its way, it becomes turbulent. Okay, there's 2 ways of looking at it actually. When anything comes into the water, into the way of water, like a stone or any obstruction, it becomes turbulent. When it becomes turbulent, what happens is that it increases its pressure, but bypasses or goes around that hindrances, and then it flows again naturally. That means the resilience is one of the major lessons you learn from water, is resilience. It became turbulent, fine, because we cannot control our emotions, because our emotions are mostly controlled by our brain. But resilience is what we learn from water. The moment we are overwhelmed by or controlled by our emotions, try to understand that this is not you who's doing it. This is your brain with your brain with the evolutionary trait is asking you to do this. So once you realize that, you can always go back. That is called resilience. So resilience is one of the major lessons we can learn from water. Another one is that water always carries some potential energy. So if you want to really do something with heavy power, it can do that. We know water generates electricity, water generates waterfalls, how powerful a waterfall is. So, but everything is aligned with the nature. Even if you want to be powerful, you have to be aligned with the nature. If you're powerful by opposing the nature, you are only losing your energy. You're not losing anywhere. But water, when it's forced down, it gains energy. It converts its potential energy to kinetic energy to do some work, and then it flows away. But imagine if it is going the other way around, it can't climb, it is going against gravity, and it never works. So even for power, you need to align with the power of the universe. And once you align with the power of the universe, that is where the flow is, and that is where the happiness is.